You got a raise last year. Maybe it was 3%, maybe it was 10. Maybe you finally landed that promotion you had been working toward for 2 years straight, and for about a week, maybe 2, you felt genuinely ahead. You felt like you had finally created some breathing room in your financial life. And then something strange happened, something so gradual and so quiet that you did not even notice it while it was occurring. Your expenses grew, not because you made any single dramatic decision, not because you went out and bought a boat, but because a slightly nicer apartment made sense now, because upgrading your car felt reasonable at your new income level, because the grocery store you used to think was too expensive somehow became your regular stop, because the gym with the nice locker rooms and the cold plunge was only $30 more per month, and you were making more now, so why not? And 12 months later, you looked at your bank account and realized that despite earning more money than you have ever earned in your entire life, you are saving almost the exact same dollar amount you were saving before the raise. Maybe less. You did not waste your money. You did not blow it on anything crazy. And yet somehow it is just gone. Absorbed. Disappeared into a lifestyle that quietly expanded to consume every extra dollar before you even had a chance to decide what to do with it. This is not a you problem. This is not a discipline problem. This is not a sign that you are bad with money. This is a documented, studied, neurologically wired human phenomenon that researchers have been analyzing for decades, and the financial industry has been quietly profiting from it for even longer. It has a name. It is called lifestyle creep, and today we are going to get into exactly why your brain is literally programmed to spend every dollar you earn, who built that programming, how they keep it running, and most importantly, what you can actually do to start rewriting it before it quietly steals the next 10 years of your financial life. If you have ever wondered why making more money never seems to feel like enough, stay locked in because this video is going to explain everything. And if this channel is new to you and you want more real talk about money psychology and how wealth actually works in the real world, hit that subscribe button right now because we do this every single week. Alright, let us go. Hey, I am Dave, and I invest smart, and I want to start today by telling you something that the personal finance world almost never says out loud. The fact that your spending rises with your income is not a character flaw. It is not proof that you lack willpower. It is the predictable, almost mathematically reliable output of programming that has been installed in your brain by forces that are a lot bigger than your individual choices. Understanding those forces is the only way to actually start fighting them. So let us talk about where the programming comes from. It starts in evolutionary biology, and it starts a lot further back than credit cards or Instagram ads. Human beings are not wired to save. We are wired to consume. For about 200,000 years of human existence, the optimal survival strategy was to consume available resources as fast as possible because resources were scarce, unpredictable, and could disappear overnight. The animal that ate when food was available survived. The animal that saved for later often did not get a later. That impulse is still running in your nervous system right now. When resources increase, meaning when your income goes up, your brain does not naturally think, now I should stockpile this for future security. Your brain thinks resources are more available now, so I can consume more now. The drive to upgrade your environment when your means increase is not irrational behavior. From an evolutionary standpoint, it is the exact behavior that kept your ancestors alive. But here is where it gets complicated. We are living in a 2024 consumer economy with a 200,000-year-old brain, and the entire architecture of modern commerce was specifically engineered to exploit that gap. Let us talk about hedonic adaptation, because this is the psychological engine that drives lifestyle creep, and almost nobody talks about it in the context of personal finance. Hedonic adaptation is the brain's built-in tendency to return to a baseline level of satisfaction regardless of what changes in your external circumstances. You get a nicer apartment. For about 3 weeks it feels amazing. You notice the high ceilings, the new appliances, the extra closet space, and then your brain normalizes it. The new apartment stops feeling like an upgrade and starts feeling like just where you live. And the apartment you were perfectly content in 6 months ago now seems cramped and old and a little depressing when you think back on it. The hedonic treadmill is always running. Every upgrade becomes the new baseline, and the new baseline always starts to feel insufficient. This is not a glitch in the system. For the consumer economy, this is the entire feature. Because a brain that adapts to every upgrade and constantly seeks the next level of comfort is a brain that keeps spending, indefinitely, without a biological ceiling, and the people selling you things know exactly how this works. Dave wants you to really sit with that for a second. The companies marketing to you have entire departments of behavioral economists and consumer psychologists whose full-time job is to understand your hedonic adaptation cycle and to position their product as the next upgrade your brain is going to need. They are not selling you things. They are selling you the temporary feeling of being ahead of your own baseline, and they are very, very good at it. Now layer on top of that the concept of social comparison theory. In 1954, a psychologist named Leon Festinger proposed that human beings have a fundamental drive to evaluate themselves by comparing themselves to others. This was a useful adaptation in a small tribal community where knowing your social standing relative to your peers had real survival implications. But take that same hardwired drive and drop it into a world of curated social media feeds where everyone is performing their peak financial life for an audience, and you have created one of the most powerful spending triggers in human history. When your college roommate posts photos of their new kitchen renovation, your current kitchen does not just look dated. It starts to feel like evidence that you have fallen behind in a race you did not even consciously choose to enter. The comparison is not between your real life and their real life. The comparison is between your everyday reality and the highlight reel they chose to broadcast, and your brain cannot tell the difference. It just registers the gap and generates the urge to close it. This is why lifestyle creep accelerates in your 30s and 40s specifically. Because that is the decade when your peer group's visible consumption starts diverging sharply. Some people are buying houses. Some people are driving better cars. Some people are taking the vacations. And even if none of those things would have been your priority in isolation, seeing them through the lens of social comparison makes them feel like requirements, like minimum standards, like the baseline of a successful adult life that you are either meeting or failing to meet. And here is the part that should genuinely make you a little angry. The financial industry profits from lifestyle creep as much as the consumer brands do. Think about how financial products are marketed to you as your income grows. You do not just get a checking account anymore. You qualify for premium banking. You get a dedicated advisor calling to tell you about wealth management services designed for people at your level. The language around every financial product upgrades in parallel with your income, and that language is not neutral. It is specifically designed to tie your financial product choices to your identity and your status, so that downgrading feels like admitting defeat rather than making a smart strategic choice. So what do you actually do with all of this? Because Dave does not show up to explain problems without talking about solutions. That is not what investing smart means. The first move is what behavioral economists call a commitment device, and it is the single most powerful tool against lifestyle creep. The moment your income increases, before you have a chance to experience any new baseline, you automate the difference. If your take-home pay increases by $400 a month, you redirect that $400 to an investment account or a high-yield savings account before it ever hits your checking account. You never see it. Your lifestyle never incorporates it. Your hedonic baseline never knows it exists. You are not relying on willpower. You are engineering your environment so that the willpower conversation never has to happen. The second move is to audit your life for normalized expenses that your past self would have considered luxuries. This exercise is uncomfortable, but it is revealing. Most people doing it for the first time discover $300 to $600 a month in spending that has completely lost its joy factor but persisted entirely on autopilot because canceling it never felt urgent enough. Subscriptions, memberships, recurring services. The slightly nicer version of something you used to get the standard version of and now cannot even remember why you upgraded. Cutting these is not about deprivation. It is about taking the money back from your normalized baseline and redirecting it somewhere that actually builds your future. The third move is to consciously design your social comparison environment. You cannot fully turn off the comparison instinct because it is neurological, but you can change what you are comparing yourself to. Unfollow accounts that trigger status anxiety spending in you. Spend more time with people who talk openly about saving rates, investment returns, and financial freedom goals, rather than people whose conversations are dominated by consumption and lifestyle display. Your brain will recalibrate its baseline comparison point over time, slowly but measurably. The fourth move is to understand the true cost of lifestyle creep in future dollars, not present dollars. When you redirect $500 a month away from lifestyle inflation and into a diversified investment account at a historical average return of around 7% annually, over 30 years that $500 a month becomes approximately $566,000. That is not the money you spent on the nicer apartment, the upgraded car, and the premium gym membership. That is what those things actually cost you, not their price tag, their compounded opportunity cost. When you see the number in those terms, the trade starts to look very different. And the fifth move is to deliberately schedule what researchers call anti-hedonic adaptation experiences. These are intentional moments of returning to simpler, lower-cost versions of things you have upgraded away from. Cooking at home on weekends instead of restaurants, taking a camping trip instead of a hotel vacation, driving your current car for one more year instead of upgrading. Not as punishment, not as deprivation, but as a way of consciously recalibrating your baseline so that what you already have continues to feel like enough instead of like the floor you are trying to escape. Lifestyle creep is not a moral failure. It is a neurological default. It is evolution, social wiring, and trillion-dollar marketing budgets all pulling in the same direction, and the only way to redirect it is to understand what is actually pulling you, name it, and build systems that are stronger than the default. Your future self is not asking you to sacrifice your quality of life. Your future self is asking you to stop letting a 200,000-year-old survival instinct make all the financial decisions. Dave is here every week to help you see these patterns before they cost you decades. If you made it to the end of this video, you already think differently about money than most people around you. Hit subscribe. Share this with someone who just got a raise and does not know what is about to happen to it, and we will see you in the next one.